never slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up.
The past is gone. Now's the future.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of the Weekly Review. My name is Mike Larkin, and joining me as always are my boys, my homies, the dead man of RWT, Paul Morales, and my boy, DC Daniel Crimmins. Gentlemen, Saturday night's main event has gone off the air. What are your thoughts?
I'll pay you.
I'll pay you.
It was a very predictable show.
Yeah.
As much as a lot of people, and shout out to Denise Salcedo because she was actually doing a watch along while she was in Vegas. She actually said the reasons why she tuned into the show were specifically for Braun and Jacob Fatu, but she also was very, very intrigued at the fact that Jey Uso was basically the poster for this show.
Yeah.
So were we gonna get that title change, tonight? But we didn't get it, even though it was very, very close. It was a really, really good match. I thought so, but everything else was pretty much predictable. Aside from I kind of wanted Sheamus to kind of get very, very close and win, but nope, didn't happen.
So here's what's cool about it, and I will say this: Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax. Let's give a shout out to that girl, Nia. Your mom sucks. Like, she was just on point with everything. These two have such great chemistry together. The match at Australia and now here, and her getting up for the Riptide. We saw the Code Red, the electric chair power moves, Nia with the friggin' Annihilator on the back. One thing I do have to mention, because Rhea Ripley, and this is where we'll start a little news here, because Rhea Ripley was the topic of discussion this week, and we're going to pull up the tweet because Rhea owned this mofo like he stole something. So here we go. So Society Reviews commented on this post. It was Rhea Ripley's transformation. Beautiful woman as Rhea Ripley is. Her before and after photo, her back in the day to where she is now and how she absolutely looks, the mommy that we know. And Society Reviews came back with a little tweet, on a quote tweet under this. It said, she was better before, and if she didn't hate herself, she would see that. Well, now, Rhea Ripley would respond to this saying, actually, I love myself a lot more now. I hated and still hate how I looked in that first pic. So please, and not so kindly, go fuck yourself. Project your toxic masculinity and straight up insecurities elsewhere. So that was Rhea Ripley's response to that fan. Boom.
Don't fuck with mommy.
No, not at all. Do not fuck with mommy.
Rhea Ripley is the kind of talent that you want, and she's even said it back then. She was trying to be, we acknowledge her.
I acknowledge you, mommy.
We love you, mommy.
But she's admitted, she said she was trying to be who she thought WWE wanted her, and was looking for. She said that's never who she was. And you would want somebody like Rhea, and the reason that she resonates with the crowd is because she is different. She is something and someone that not just little girls, but little kids that are different, that don't fit the societal mold, can look up to. That should be something that we should be celebrating.
To go on to your point, Daniel, I've always said this, where she was in the first Mae Young Classic, like the long hair blonde, and she kind of had like a resemblance to Charlotte, and then you get to the second Mae Young Classic, and she looks like the Rhea Ripley, the badass Rhea Ripley, and then she continued to transform to what we see now. That was where it started, her NXT UK Women's Championship run to now. This Rhea Ripley is just absolutely amazing. She's really coming to her own, and she is the absolute future. We mentioned her and Nia killed it. I got to put this out. Braun Breaker, he's got the dog in him. Him and Sheamus, man. Sheamus is coming up short once again. The physicality between these two is off the chart. Sheamus is definitely going to win that IC title in the future, but right now it is Braun Breaker's time.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
As much as I would like to, as much as I think I pointed it out, to several outlets too. I would like for him to win it at WrestleMania, but I know that there are some people that have that pushback to say it's too soon to take it off of Braun. But if you look at it, if he's putting over Sheamus or Sheamus is putting over Braun, either way you want to look at it, even if it's not at WrestleMania, say it's at SummerSlam, and you give him a good full year with the title, it's a good thing. It is a good thing for this guy to have a good title run. Then if you want to move him up to go after the World Heavyweight Championship, so be it.
Yeah.
But right now, I would love for him to keep it at least until WrestleMania. If WrestleMania, anything after that, give him the Money in the Bank. If anything, I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing that out there. Either that or have a good feud with Sheamus for a while and maybe dropping it at SummerSlam. That's just kind of my thought.
I'm here for that as well. It works. It's the right plan. It's the right story. If you tell it for the X amount of months, it will work. And I mean, speaking of talking about things that'll work, Kevin Owens is the most absolute savage ever. Last night, he's wearing the Naomi t-shirt against Jimmy, and tonight, Cody sucks eggs. That egg-sucking dog, Terry Funk style to friggin' Mr. Cody Rhodes with Shawn Michaels as the moderator. This heightened everything that we're going to see in the ladder match next week. And, of course, old HBK got a nice little sweet chin on Kevin, which means Shawn's going to get killed on NXT on Tuesday. But god dang it, this segment, y'all. Oof.
It's hard because I remember the old HBK, WrestleMania 12 coming down in the zip line and like seeing him, I'm just like, that line from Anchorman, you're not Ron. And I'm thinking, you're not Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, who is this Shawn Michaels with his no hair having cowboy?
Who is this old, like, crypt keeper looking dude? Like,
right?
I don't like this. But like, there's part of HBK that just wishes that he could still, lace up the boots one more time. Not like Saudi, like he used to be.
Right.
But, I thought it was good. As much as I don't think it'll happen, I would love for KO to go over at Rumble, win the title. Because he is over right now. And, it's been long enough. Can we get that winged eagle on a real strap? Like, you can tell it's a dang replica.
I would love to see it too. And I mean, I'm still going with my prediction. I like your idea of Kevin winning it because he's white hot right now. But Cody did mention the promo on SmackDown. He's been around Randy Orton, and that we're probably going to see Randall K in the match at Mania. It's going to be Randy and Kevin because of Kevin taking him out with the pile driver, which is still a big money match. But yeah, there's a part of me that also wants to see Kevin finally win it.
I think somewhere along this year, John is going to win it. I don't know if this is the Rumble, if this is the Royal Rumble, he's going to win it. I don't know if it's going to be Elimination Chamber, but I'd like to see at some point in time him actually winning the title. That's just me personally, but as far as this predictions for this Rumble, the guys at least, I have to go with Pepsi Phil. Don't ask me why. In my mind, what I see playing out, the last two people, well, the last two people that are in there are Roman and CM Punk.
Right.
Number 30 has yet to come out. Shout out to fucking Dave LaGreca for this one because he actually had me fucking thinking about this. Number 30 hits. It's fucking Brock fucking Lesnar. He comes out, hits fucking Roman Reigns, tosses him over, and then eliminates himself. That's the moment where Punk's favor fucking comes in.
I like that scenario. I mean, with what they're doing now, we mentioned like with everybody.
Shout out to Dave LaGreca for that one because
I do like
that one was a good fucking thought.
good
That one he said I put some real thought into this. So shout out to fucking Dave for that one. Thank you.
I would just, and not to cut you off, Michael, but I think I would build off on that. You guys remember Survivor Series 2002?
Yep, I was there.
Big Show versus Brock Lesnar.
Yes, sir.
You know where I'm going with this.
Oh yeah.
Paul costs, because Roman doesn't need Paul Heyman anymore.
Right.
So what do you do with somebody like Paul Heyman? You put him with CM Punk.
Right.
You put them back together.
I'm for that. A Punk with Heyman against Roman Reigns. I mean, we hear all the internal talks. That's one of the matches that they really want for WrestleMania. And I mean, you have that particular scenario. I mean, you got Jacob Fortuna, as we saw tonight, beating up Braun Strowman and leaving it bloody. Like, the best of him, and we mentioned the Bloodline storyline, but him going away and just having him shout, this is the best version that we're going to get Jacob Fortuna right now. And we still don't know what the heck's going on with Solo, since he's been very quiet. What's the deal going on with Solo? You have such a star-studded Rumble. I like the addition of Roman and CM Punk. And maybe it's tough for me because you hear rumors of Cody and Cena, but I don't think this is John Cena winning the Royal Rumble. This one, no, I'm certainly not going with that. I'm very
Elimination Chamber, maybe.
Yes, Elimination Chamber, maybe, but I don't see him in the Royal Rumble, so it's very tough for me. I mean, I'd like to see maybe Drew win it again. I don't know. Like, there's so many different outlets. I can't really put my finger on it. We just saw Charlotte is announced for the Royal Rumble, and there's talk of her winning and her and you don't want to see her and Tiffany at WrestleMania? No?
If she does,
yes.
I want to see Tiffany Stratton mollywop her.
Oh, you're using the terms. Okay, Mollywop City. I like it, Dan. I like it.
I'm sorry, but Tiffany Stratton is your future.
I'm trying to. Okay, so this is how I'm logically trying to look at this.
Right.
I'm trying to look at that. You have 2 nights of WrestleMania. You're going to have both world titles, women's, men's, on the line. So if I'm trying to look at this from the bigger perspective, this is John's last run.
Yep.
But Phil wants that moment. Phil wants that moment on top. So, and I know my scenario, I went back and forth with it with the scenario that Dave had thrown out there. I was kind of going back and forth with it because if Brock is the one that eliminates Roman Reigns and then eliminates himself, how is it? Are we going to get? I don't want to get Roman versus Brock again. That's just that case.
Right.
Unless Brock comes out with a tractor again.
Unless Brock comes out in a tractor again. No, in my mind, if it's gonna happen, it has to happen early rather than later in the match. So that's why I pick CM Punk as my winner. But at the same time, I look a month later to Elimination Chamber. How do we get this? How do we get to this match where we have Cody versus somebody? I mean, we're gonna get Gunther. Gunther is probably gonna be champion once that thing comes. So, who is gonna face Gunther? Are we gonna get John Cena versus Gunther? Are we gonna get CM Punk versus Cody? Or are we gonna get Punk versus Gunther and then Cody versus John Cena? There are so many possibilities, but it's good that we don't have Roman Reigns in any world title match, because that's the last thing I need this year.
Right.
I need it to be different than the last, I don't know, 4 years.
Right. But that's the thing too. Like with Roman Reigns, this is his first Royal Rumble since 2020. Like after he's coming off the feud with Baron Corbin and the dog food. Like this is a very
Mike, that never happened.
I know we're not going to talk about that. But
Control Alt Delete.
Control Alt Delete, but that's the big thing. And I mean, to go off your point too, what I love delete. What I love about that point too as
No,
well.
I'm not doing that. I'm delete.
Delete. Oh, the best part about it is you don't know who Cody's going to face, but you're willing to take the ride of air possibilities. Now with Gunther, the talk everybody's talking about, the internal thing is Logan Paul. Which, are y'all into Gunther and Logan Paul or not?
No. If that happens, then I want Gunther to light him up.
Same here.
Leave that boy.
You can't have him. You can't have him on there.
No. I mean,
not for that. Not for that, anyways. If Logan Paul's going to do anything, I want him versus Bad Bunny.
That would be cool. What about him and Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental title down the line? No? Okay, no titles for Logan Paul. No titles
for Logan Paul.
You know what? I will say this. It will never happen, but it should.
Yeah.
There's been comparisons. If you're familiar with the show, the Amazon show, The Boys.
Yes.
There have been the comparisons between Cody and Homelander.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So hear me out. You want to do Cody Cena? Fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Cody needs to be heel.
Oh, and he's done it before very well. Okay.
Have him come out. Have Cena. If you're going to have Cena win the Rumble, which again, okay. Here's what you do. You have Cody get jealous. Say, I was here for the last 2-3 years carrying this company on my back. Cena comes in and expects it to be handed it to him.
That's why I don't think that he's going to. That's why I don't think John's going to win it. Elimination Chamber, maybe. I think somewhere down the line. That I wasn't necessarily thinking that recent. And at the same time, I don't know if you want to have Cody face Randy Orton for the title, unless you get that heel Randy Orton and not this happy-go-lucky Randy Orton, or you get a heel freaking Cody,
which
and a
Cody
face
doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to.
Which Cody, I understand. He's kind of taking that John Cena route where he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to go into that heel mode like he was once before. And what he did, again, back to something he doesn't want to do. You know, we could debate this all we want, but at the end of the day, it has to be somebody that makes sense for Cody. I like Kevin Owens. I really, really do. I like Kevin Owens as a choice. And I would like Kevin Owens to go over. That's just me, though.
It won't happen. But what I would love to see happen, have Gunther drop the title at Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Gunther goes into the Elimination Chamber, wins it, and we get Gunther versus Cody for the WWE title at WrestleMania. And there's history there. You had the thing in Saudi. And what else do you have?
The Royal Rumble.
Back-to-back Royal Rumbles.
Right.
That Gunther, who's the one person that he just has not been able to beat?
Cody.
Who's one of the only 3 people that has beaten Gunther in WWE?
Cody.
The story is there. Whether you do it at SummerSlam, whether you do it at Mania, SummerSlam, at some point you got to circle back to it.
Yeah, Gunther's got to get his win back.
And I think
what better way to do it.
And I think in another aspect too is that if you look at it, you can, unless Roman Reigns, God forbid, wins Elimination Chamber, he takes on Gunther, not necessarily Cody, because the Royal Rumble winner already said, "Hey, guess what? I'm going to pick Cody." You know, I really don't want that, but
I think eventually Roman's going to be a champion again. We know it's going to happen eventually. It's like You know, but right now is not the time. I think if you have Roman win either the Rumble or the Chamber, you're gonna turn him heel again. Like the fans are immediately gonna just be like, no.
Yeah, I'm at the point where he should not be the near the world heavyweight title picture at
At
all.
least until SummerSlam.
Right. You have to let shit marinate is the thing. And I think they're starting to understand that, especially under
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank, yes. But the Triple H regime is all about really like the slow build and everything. And that's why a lot of people gravitate towards it. I mean, a lot of us got upset because they just had Karrion Kross and The Miz on Raw, and then Karrion Kross is like, oh, the Wyatts are on the SmackDown. It's like, wait a minute, you didn't finish this doggone feud. But then we get to SmackDown, and The Miz is there, and Karrion Kross got him over to SmackDown like The Miz got the Wyatts over there. So now Miz needs some new friends to go against the Wyatt Six. So they're continuing the Wyatt Six and The Miz on SmackDown.
And we get what do we get? We get that and you know, I hate them, but it was a great segment. You had that segment with The Miz and Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. He's like Marine 7.
Let's go.
And then you have all expect Theory, Waller, pack your bags, you're going to Raw.
I mean, it makes sense, and I'll tell you why. Because what else is A-Town Down Under going to do on SmackDown? And you have the perfect heel team for the War Raiders on Raw. The Miz gets a nice little change of scenery. Damian Priest is now on friggin' SmackDown, and he's coming for Cody. So, you know, we're going to get Cody and Damian Priest, which I'm cool with. And also because the Judgment Day thing has kind of ran its course. It's like, can we get them away from this Judgment Day thing now?
Honestly, you know what? Also, I was thinking about, said this to the guys, the other day. I kind of want to see Nakamura and Priest. Like, have we had that?
I don't think so. Not to my knowledge. Not that I remember.
Like this, honestly, I would love to see Nakamura win the Rumble again.
Nakamura winning the Rumble again.
This Nakamura is different.
It's better than what we've had.
I'm loving this run of he's on, and you know what? You can tell he's loving it too.
Well, yeah, he gets to be himself. It's more creative instead of just going back to old school Nakamura.
Or the whole, sorry no speak English.
Absolutely. Man, like I said, we always talk about so many possibilities. And for me, one thing that I'm very happy about, and I think you two can concur with me on this, and I'm sure the viewers can, we finally got the tag titles being defended again on pay-per-view. DIY and the Motor City Machine Guns in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Sign me up. I'm here for it.
I don't know, but if you look at Friday's match between Pretty Deadly and the Motor City Machine Guns, that match was fire.
Yep.
I haven't seen that version of Pretty Deadly since they were in NXT.
Yeah, that goes far back. NXT. Yep.
And you're talking about a good couple of years for that. And oh my God, they came out and did some new moves that I haven't seen them do, not even in NXT. So I am ready for this match. I am so ready for this match. And if they're building this division and Pretty Deadly is part of it, and then, oh my God, this is just, it's going to be a fire fucking division.
And you know what? I am so happy to see Pretty Deadly finally they're getting over with the crowd. Like before they had that Grayson Waller style, where they're just like, people just didn't like them.
Right.
But they are over. The crowd is really starting to get into them. And you know what? The more teams that are there, great. There's the story that one of the Wyatt Six is hurt. When they're back, you have them around. You have a lot of great teams, and eventually, who knows when. Anthony Khan, looking at you, we'll have Phoenix, we'll have the Lucha Bros, which if Conan had kept his mouth shut, they would have bet it probably would be DIY versus the Lucha Bros at Rumble.
We'll get to Conan in a minute, by the way, because Conan is a part of today's topics. That's the thing too. Like Penta,
I'll pay you.
Penta's been looking really good against Pete Dunne and Chad Gable. Like, Dude, there's so many possibilities. And we mentioned Motor City Machine Guns. For y'all have never seen them in Beer Money in the best of 7, and they had a great 2 out of 3 falls match. This is going to be really special with DIY in them. And like you mentioned with the Wyatt 6, if you have them go against DIY, you have DIY against Joe Gacy and Dexter Loomis. Dexter Loomis has got some history with Johnny Gargano. So, I mean, it works perfectly.
The other thing that I don't think we mentioned, we talked about the men's Rumble.
Sure.
We get to see what Penta's going to do because he's going to be in the Rumble.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I think the big one I have to also mention, besides Penta being awesome, there was talk of a big TNA being in their name. So I'm going to say it right now. Say his name, and he appeared. I believe in Joe Hendry. If you don't have Joe Hendry in the Royal Rumble, like those people are going to go.
If you don't put Joe Hendry in it the same way you did Jordan Grace last year with the title around her waist,
right.
If you don't do that with Joe Hendry and the title around his waist, that it is just a waste. And I'm going to get back on topic with him in a little while, but we're going to hit on his topic later on. But here's the thing: is that I would love to see a couple of representatives, Moose being another one,
yep,
Josh Alexander being another one. I would love to. I know Josh's contract is up, but I would love to see him come over just to have at least some interaction with Chad Gable. Oh my God, give me that one. Give me Josh Alexander versus Chad Gable. I would love that one.
You think we'll see PCO?
Oh God, that GCW debacle! My goodness gracious. Well,
so we look at it and we have the men's Royal Rumble, that which we all have our different, who's gonna win.
Yeah.
I mean, we look at the world title match, the WWE title match. We kind of already see Cody winning it.
Yeah.
It would be such a shocker if KO wins it.
Right.
We have. I think I said I think I would love to see DIY retain, but at the same time, I would love Motor City Machine Guns to win on a fucking pay-per-view. Oh, yeah. Not on SmackDown, but on a pay-per-view, win the titles.
What I would love to see, I don't think they'll do it, but I think it would be awesome if they did. Kevin Owens beats Cody, and Sami Zayn wins the Rumble.
That would be
Sami and KO. I think, again, you have a story there. There's so many stories that they can tell, and it's a beautiful thing, honestly.
And I love how Triple H is doing this long-term storytelling. Like if a bit in piece. See, Tony, this is how you do it.
Oh yeah.
See, you go back and you look at the things that happened before, but yet it kind of intertwines with the story to where you kind of bring it to light and where you allow it to kind of progress into something great. Tony, see, this is what you do. Even if it's old, you have to bring it up to the present, make it work, and then use it to get into the next part of the story. See, so it's a continuance of a story or starting a new story over again, bringing it back up.
Hey, remember when they had that match on October 24th?
Remember that time when, they had that match and it was the greatest thing ever? We're going to do it again. Yeah. No.
Every match is a banger.
It's a banger. I love you, Dave. So the best.
For the sickos.
So the thing I have to add to that too as well, and you guys make a great point. Like, I mean, we all saw on TNA the number 23 was Mance Warner, and now we're going to get Mance Warner and Sami Callihan. But the thing I also have to add too is with the TNA side of things, we mentioned Joe Hendry being in the Royal Rumble. Of course, I'm thinking women, we're going to get Jordan Grace again. And do you have Masha Slamovich? Because we've had the Knockouts champion there before. You have Masha Slamovich in the Women's Royal Rumble. I think you do.
I think, and I'm making this prediction here and now. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I think back to the Royal Rumble in 2020, and y'all remember the biggest reaction we've ever seen in a Rumble was Edge coming back.
Right.
Yeah.
You think of what could top that?
AJ Lee.
I don't know what it is. I have a feeling because I remember an interview with Punk a while back where they asked him, like, is she, and he said, hey, I am trying. Like he said, I'm trying to get her to come back. And he's like, I don't know. He said, I'm being honest. He said before she was absolutely against it. And he said, now she's not, she won't rule it out. So he said, I'm not saying, it's happening, but he said, I'd love to see it.
I remember when she was in the episodes of Heels,
yes,
when she was doing stuff with the women on Heels, and she looked phenomenal. And even the women that were wrestling her in the show, or even the guys that were just going toe to toe with her in the show just to practice, they were saying the exact same thing. Like, she looks like she hasn't had any rust whatsoever, like nothing. So if she's training, whether it's just doing physical stuff or whatever, and not necessarily ring stuff, then again, we don't know if she's hit over to the dungeon over in over there, and because it is across the river, and north of Chicago, it is up there. So
there was also another rumor, another story recently that Nikki Bella is back on good terms with WWE. So do you have her as a surprise? Do you have her as a surprise entrance? Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
I could see it.
It's weird. It's weird because if you look at it, there's only like maybe 6 or 7 women who have declared for the Women's Royal Rumble, and up until last night, up until SmackDown on Friday, there was only 2 who had declared. So now you're up to, you had Bianca who says she's going to do it. You had Naomi who says she's going to do it. You had the vignette with Charlotte saying that she was going to do it.
Morgan,
Nia already said that she's going to do it. So again, Liv Morgan said that she's going to do it. So again, now you're all of a sudden building to, now you have like 6, 7, 8 women now who are already said we declare for the Royal Rumble next week. And of course, we still got Monday Night Raw to go to see who else declares from over there. But still, in the same sense, in hindsight, you still have about 12, 10, at least 20 spots that you have open. So we've already threw out some names. We said AJ Lee would be one. We said
Roxanne Perez.
We said Nikki Bella would be another one. Obviously, we can toss out names. Masha Slamovich. We could also say Jordan Grace, Julia,
Santina Morella,
Roxanne Perez.
No.
Roxanne Perez is another name.
Cora Jade.
Thea Hale would be a good name to throw out there. I'm sorry, but there are a lot of names in NXT. You have Stephanie McCool, who could also be another name.
Julia,
and Julia could be another one. But the list of names can just
Blanchard. No, too soon.
You know what? Get out. Get out.
Get out. So,
I don't want it to happen either. I can't stand her.
So now, that's going to bring us to our next thing, since we mentioned the Rumble. We got to go here because Daniel just put it out there. So if you've not seen Genesis for TNA, you should, because goddamn it, that was a good show. Same with the live show.
Great show.
Really, really good show.
Tessa Blanchard and Jordan Grace had an fantastic match. The crowd, though, chanted, "She's a racist," and "Fuck you, Tessa." The people in Texas were not having it with Tessa Blanchard. My goodness gracious. Oh, so y'all,
I'm gonna sip on my tea.
Yes, I mean
it's wine, but it's tea.
Yeah, rightfully so. Dude, can this woman ever be forgiven? The thing is, I know she said she's talked to people, but it's like you have to can you actually publicly say the words "I'm sorry," please? Can you just say "I'm sorry," Tessa? It's okay. You can say "I'm sorry." And notice how when Jordan Grace was in the back in that video and everybody was clapping for her because that was it, she did not even hug Tessa. She went right past Tessa and just hugged everybody else. Oh.
I think if you look at it in hindsight, the one thing that she needs to do, she needs to come out and apologize.
Correct.
I understand. You have to understand that the perception, the same thing as Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan may have come out, came back to WWE back in, I think it was like 2019, 20.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
it was like 2019 or 2018, and he told Mark Henry and Titus O'Neil, just make sure you ever say anything You ever say anything in the privacy of your own home, just make sure that nobody's recording it. Why?
Just
Why? Just don't say it. If you have nothing nice to say, if you can't be racist in your own home, you shouldn't be racist.
right.
I think that came out right.
Yeah, I think it did.
To
But
quote the Iron Sheik, fuck the
fuck the
Hulk
Hulk Hogan. But no, dudes, like this show. First of all, about damn time Joe Hendry wins the TNA World's Heavyweight Champion. About damn time. And first of all, JBL delivering the clothesline from hell to Frankie Kazarian and Matt Cardona on Impact. JBL, and then he comes back on Monday to do commentary, and it's like, are we not just going to acknowledge the fact that this man literally just clothesline from hell another man last night?
Let's also we got to add in the backstage segment with the New Day where they're like, you know something about getting rid of dead weight.
Oh, geez.
And then they put the $2 in his breast pocket, and then JBL just says, and he basically says, he's like, no, even that's not good with me. And then they leave, and he says, can I keep the $2?
It's comedy gold, and they're going somewhere with the New Day. You could tell they're having fun with this heel turn now, and it's so good.
And I think, I know we got to go back to Rumble, but I think we get Big E coming back at the Rumble.
God, if they have the New Day just in the ring and then his music hits, that place will go nuts. I'm here for it.
I think he's.
I would both cheer and cry at the same time.
Yep, I'm right there with you, man. Because it's so heartwarming. Because
I love E, man. That man is just that man
highly
is just
underrated.
Built different, and oh my God, he likes you want your 5-star matches, you want your 30-minute, or you want your 60-minute Iron Man matches. Big meaty men slapping meat.
And speaking of big men, I have to also mention this. Omos in his latest with Pro Wrestling has announced he's going back to WWE, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's too soon." And I'm like, "No, he's worked his butt off in Japan. I think he'll do very well when he goes back. I think he'll do very well."
As much as I like to say that it would be too soon, it would be too soon. But at the same time, I would like for him to just come back, do some stuff. But I do want him to go back to Noah because he was doing excellent work in Noah.
Right.
And if you go follow Pro Wrestling Noah on X, because it shows his matches, and oh my God, people are just flipping out on how, even as big of a big man as he is that he's adapting to being a big man working with little guys.
Agreed.
AJ helped him a lot. I have to admit, AJ Styles helped him a lot.
I'm curious to see what they do with him, honestly.
I mean, people are joking, why don't he be Carmelo Hayes' bodyguard now, since poor Carmelo Hayes keeps getting mollywops. And with Carmelo Hayes, that would be interesting. But I think Carmelo Hayes has been doing his thing. I like Carmelo. I'm not gonna hate on Carmelo Hayes. But
are we gonna get Omos versus Obafemi? Give me that.
Dude,
big meaty men slapping meat.
Give me him in NXT and Obafemi. I'm happy. That'd be cool. I would like that.
Big meaty men slapping meat.
I don't know, but whatever it is, I'm here for it. I mean, we always talk about just the possibilities, and I mean, we mentioned the WWE TNA relationship. We talk about possibilities. All y'all are looking forward to Cora Jade and Masha Slamovich for the Knockouts title.
And and also, I don't know if you saw it. Looks like it's official that Ridge Holland is being moved to TNA.
Oh, okay. I did not see that, but yeah, I'm cool with that too. If they put Ridge in TNA, okay, I'm for that.
I would love to see that being a transfer of talent,
right?
Because you look at what we're getting right now between SmackDown and Raw, how they have that transfer window and people are just moving from one side to another. Give me that with NXT and TNA. I would love to have Xia Li come back to NXT. I would love to see the girls from Fatal Influence to go to
a knockout
to go to the Knockouts division. Just give me some swaps back and forth, and they can it builds both fucking rosters, and it helps them out so much.
I think eventually, I got to reference it. We got the Hardys, you know,
Yeah.
who have been doing this TNA run has been really entertaining with them.
Very much so, yeah.
And you can tell they're both having a lot of fun, which I'm happy from Jeff. Looks like he's in a really good place, which, again, really great to see.
Yes.
I think eventually, what's the one tag title that they haven't gotten?
The NXT title. And then, well, they
NXT
teased it.
tag team
They
titles.
want to go
And
to the
I'm calling it now. I think this year you are going to see Matt and Jeff Hardy go into the Hall of Fame.
Agreed. I wholeheartedly agree. Now, well, they did say they want to go on that expedition one more time, so I think Fraxium against the Hardys is definitely imminent.
Do a winner take all.
Oh, okay.
And I think
I hate winner take all. God, I'm sorry, but if you and somebody had posted this on Twitter, but so you know that NXT actually has, I believe, 7 or 8 tag teams right now
Yes.
for the women,
Yes.
and it's like, where are those NXT tag team title, women's tag team titles? They need them back. Of all the things that they need back, they need those back, because you could still build both rosters, and you even if you want them to wrestle with the oh yeah, there's the list. So if you look at it, man, that's a good list. That is a very good list of women that are in the women's tag team division right now.
So to reference the
But they're
tweet,
fighting for nothing.
right, and to reference the tweet, this is from MLKY Clouds. So we got Sol and Zarya, who's a great team now. We got Kendall and Carly, which is also very cool. We got Lash and Jakara. We got JC and Jasmine. We got Gigi and Tatum. We got Carmen and Brindley, Lainey and Callie. Like, there's a lot of teams there that could go for that. You could build with the women's tag team division. So, I mean, like, there's possibilities there, but I also have to put into fruition as well. Like, you look at a lot of the women that they're doing now. I mean, I'm going to say this right now as far as the NXT women's division goes. The fact that they're finally turning Kailani Jordan heel makes a whole lot of sense, because she needs a nice little freshen up there. You have Jada Parker, who's becoming a fan favorite, and just because people are loving them some Jada Parker right now, you have a lot of people doing a lot of great things in that division. Exactly. But that's the thing too, man. I'm excited to see where that division goes. We mentioned Fraxium, who just fought the Rascals on TNA. Like, there's so many possibilities. And the only other thing I'll mention from that too as well is the fact that you're also setting up not even that, guys. Like, you have Roxanne versus Bailey coming into fruition, which I would love it to be at the next NXT TakeOver event, Bailey's first NXT TakeOver since 2016. You have DIY and the possibility of them going against Fraxium. So you have a lot of exchanges and working relationships there within not just TNA and WWE, but the main roster in NXT, and it works beautifully.
Yeah, although we talked about the transfer window and everything. I would like to see Pure Fusion Collective actually go to TNA.
And they've been on there before. They have been.
Yeah, because, and then of course we get Masha Slamovich, who actually mentioned on Friday in her interview, or was it Friday? Yeah, it was Friday in her interview with on Busted Open. She actually mentioned, of all the people that, you know, now with the transfer window or with the relationship between WWE and TNA, she actually did mention Shayna Baszler as somebody that she would love to get back in the ring with. And that would be awesome for me to see, that for the fans to see anyways. If you didn't watch it at GCW, go back and watch it. It was a really, really great match, and to have them run it back in TNA would be so awesome.
Well, that's it too, man. It's like, we talk about pro wrestling and we talk about the possibilities, and you see, we're excited, we're happy, and we're totally for having this transfer window, and we're totally for freshness. And then we get to the other side of the coin, which you're going to get into in a minute here. But one other thing I had to mention, WWE wise, yeah, I know, I can see their faces. So
hold on. Did we even pick a winner for the fucking Women's Royal Rumble?
Well, we did say Charlotte possibly, or I mean Becky. All right, we'll go to Becky Lynch. Well, we'll leave this up because this has to do with the Royal Rumble. But Charlotte, I think her and Tiffany, I mentioned that. I think Becky Lynch is another wild card, they're saying. But do you guys really want to see Rhea and Becky Part 2 this year?
No.
It's a tough one for me, man. Bianca.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
Okay.
And I keep thinking this in my head. The whole Punk versus Rollins thing, I kind of want to see that again. But you know, you can't just have them face it. Hear me out. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch versus CM Punk and AJ Lee.
That is definitely a wild card pick. Okay. The with the women's Royal Rumble too, and I'll say this because there's been rumors floating around that the internal talk. I think Fightful might have posted this. Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. So Bianca wins the Rumble again, and then she challenges Rhea Ripley because we haven't really gotten that match. I don't know about that. I think with the whole Jade thing, we're going to see more of Bianca and Naomi and who attacked Jade. I honestly don't know. This one is hard for me because I just don't know. I'm trying to think of any other women besides.
I think it's probably going to be Charlotte, and here's my reason why: is that if you go back to that 2020 Royal Rumble,
Right.
she won, and then what happened? Everything shut down that year.
Yes.
So we didn't get her big moment, big crowning moment at WrestleMania. We didn't get it that year.
No.
So I think in hindsight, if you theoretically look at it, yes, I wouldn't want it, but it just makes a little bit of sense. I mean, even if you don't want to do it this year and you want to run it back to where she wins Elimination Chamber, and then you get her versus Tiffany, who's gonna win to face Rhea? And the only person that I think who is so deserving, even through everything that she has been through, is Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be cool. That would be cool. Well, Raquel and Rhea still
that one I would love. Yes, I know that they've wrestled before, and I know that I think if for as much as she has been on TV, for as much as she has been on been featured even with Liv and being her bodyguard and everything, that would just make a little bit more sense. I mean, not unless Jordan Grace wins it, or unless you have to find somebody who is pretty much up to par or at equal to Rhea.
I mean, Raquel, because they have unfinished business. So I would love to see that. I like your stance there and everything that she's been through. But for me, I think it's kind of a foregone conclusion. I got to go with that girl, Charlotte Flair. Woo.
No. If you're going to have Charlotte Flair win it, like it, and face Tiffany.
Yes.
Tiffany needs to go over.
Oh, she has to. Like we did with Rhea, like we've done with. Yeah,
because as I've said it to you guys for a while now, Tiffany Stratton is your future. The girl is only like 24, 25 years old.
Right. Very young.
Well, Rhea's only 29.
Yeah, which is even crazier to think about that. Yeah.
And that's even crazier to think about, that she's only 29 years old.
Yes, sir.
It's in the women's Royal Rumble is so wide open. I mean, if you're going to label it, if you're just going to keep it as the top dog as being Charlotte and then everybody else, then that's just the way it's going to look. Unless somebody's going to come in and smack her in her face and punch her in her mouth and punch her in her throat, which I think she's probably going to be about 26, 25, 26. Later than she isn't going to start early because of that knee. And I know she's rehabbed that knee. Maybe she may be dead center in the middle, 14, 15, 16, somewhere around there. Maybe 17, but I think she'll probably be in the 20s.
Probably.
So she's not wrestling as long, so it gives her some time to knock off that rust. So I just think that's what I think anyways.
Please, for the love of God, do not have her come out as number 30.
No.
No, that'll probably be like Alexa Bliss. That's where I think she'll come in at.
And here we get to Alexa Bliss, as Paul Morales so beautifully transitioned.
Segue.
So here is Alexa Bliss and the latest. So this is from PW Insider. There is a contractual issue between Alexa Bliss and WWE. She is not factored into any forthcoming plans. Bliss has been seeking a new contract while WWE expects Bliss to return under the terms of her older existing deal. The belief within the company was that Bliss would secretly come to the Raw on Netflix taping in San Jose, California, and at that point, return regularly as a member of the Raw brand. At some point, just ahead of the San Jose Raw, representatives for Bliss contacted WWE and informed the company they wished to open discussions for a new contract ahead of Bliss's return. Bliss was seeking a brand new deal and obviously more money and perks, but WWE wanted to return under her existing deal, which had been extended due to her time away from the company. When Bliss's side dug in about wanting the new deal, WWE instead played hardball back, putting plans for her return in San Jose and froze all the Bliss creative plans in carbonite. The two sides have remained at odds since that time. So, we shall see where the future of Alexa Bliss lies.
I mean, at this point,
Nikki ASH wins the Royal Rumble.
No.
no. Nikki Cross.
Nikki Cross wins the Royal
Abby,
Rumble.
Yes.
Abby the Witch.
Sure.
Abby
Why
the
not?
Witch. Look, I remember. You remember when Becky came back after
Yeah.
having their daughter.
Yes.
You know, after having her daughter, she came back and she fulfilled her contract. They renewed it. Which again, back to something that I also think that has already happened, even though they're not saying that it happened. I think she already renewed it. Part of me thinks what's happening with Alexa Bliss is this will be the opportunity for them to cross their T's, dot their I's, and get everything squared away, because this woman is coming back at the Royal Rumble, and I think she's going to be number 30, and I think she's probably going to get one of the bigger pops, much like AJ Lee when she comes back.
And here's the thing, all this contract stuff. How do we know it's legit and not just misdirection? Like WWE putting out just saying, "Hey,
This isn't Tony
over
Khan.
here."
Oh, this isn't.
This isn't, I'll pay you.
I'll pay you.
But I won't use you on TV.
That's that part.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see where it goes. I'm sure they will work something out, like Paul said, with everything that happened with Becky after the.
I think they already did.
I think so too. I think they're kind of like just not saying anything right now.
Like I said, it's misdirection. It's like they're making you look over here, and then they're doing it over here.
Well,
They all switch
That's why
around.
That's why I said I think they're crossing the T's, dotting the I's. Everything's getting done between now and next Saturday. So perish the thought if she's not number 29 or 30.
Well, speaking of Saturday, because also tonight was that Collision, and we'll start with this portion of the AEW news because we're getting into, like I said, we're happy when we're talking about WWE. Then we get to AEW and it makes us itch.
I'll pay you.
I'll pay you.
I won't use you.
I won't use you, but I'll pay you. So we'll start first with that girl, and it's one of our favorites, guys, Deonna Purrazzo, the beautiful virtuosa herself. So Deonna Purrazzo, according to Fightful Select, has been very vocal to AEW management about wanting to be utilized more and better, especially around the Full Gear show in her hometown, which she lost to Anna Jay Wu. And the problem with that is that I also have an issue with that really, 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 really pisses me off. Tonight they did this. It was Queen Aminata, Deonna Purrazzo, Yuka Sakazaki, and Serena Deeb. And the winner faces Mercedes Moné for the TBS Championship on Dynamite. At the time of this recording, Deonna did not win. Yuka Sakazaki won. So on Dynamite this week, we're going to get Mercedes Moné and Yuka Sakazaki for the TBS Championship. So with that being said, you had Deonna with the Vendetta there, her and Taya Valkyrie. And you saw Taya Valkyrie is slimmed down. She's really putting the work. They had a match on Rampage before it got canceled, and they beat some enhancement talents. And you have potential there. They've been airing vignettes on Collision. Tony Storm wrestled her, and they're not doing anything with Deonna. And a lot of people have said, with now this new WWE TNA long-term relationship, for the love of God, Deonna, go back to TNA, where she was a prominent role in that Knockouts division, former Knockouts champion. She was one of the prominent stars in that division and in TNA in itself. If I were her, I'd go back to TNA. But in this particular scenario, I just don't know. So, Paul, I'll start with you. Talk about our girl, Deonna, man.
The fact that Tony Khan is continually doing this. Now, Deonna isn't the only one that he's doing this to.
Ricky Starks.
Ricky Starks is another one. Phoenix is another one. The list goes on and on of how much talent is on this roster that Tony is not using.
Right.
It's like it's like it's like I'll pay you all this
I'll
money
pay you.
to stay at home. I will pay you all this money just so you're not on TV. But hey, you know what? You're going to get paid anyways. So don't really worry about it. But why? Why is it that he cannot just do the one thing? And dude, you have 2 companies and 3 shows that you could work with, and yet you're still not featuring enough of anybody. You've had, and no offense to Athena, I love Athena. I think she is so awesome. But why is she your champion for nearly 3 years?
Because I got nobody else for her to face in Ring of Honor.
Exactly. Now, where the hell is Deonna Purrazzo? Why is she not over there? I get it. You signed with AEW, but dude, you have enough of these. ROH can basically be what it used to be.
Yep.
If you allow all this younger talent that you have that are just sitting at home or sitting in catering or doing a whole lot of nothing, and can be over there being an enhancement talent or being working on their craft, but yet building ROH into being what it used to be. You know, even before he had bought it, even before he had purchased it, we looked at 4 or 5 years before he had purchased it. ROH was really, really thriving. Mm-hmm. for being like what NWA is now or TNA is right now. You know, it was just basically a building block for every other, talent coming through. Cody Rhodes being one that went through there, Matt Cardona being another one that Mandy Leon, again, back to somebody that I mentioned. We could talk about the beautiful people who went through there too.
Yep.
So much awesome talent went through there, and I don't understand why Tony cannot just take the people that he's not utilizing, put them down there. Athena is good. I love her. I really, really do. But that strap needs to be on somebody else. You have a good division for that television title. Don't ask me why. For the women, you have a good television title division, and I think it's like 6 women he has, but he has nobody for Athena. Make sense.
Well, the thing to go on your point is, like, I just saw Layla Gray did a promo and how she wants to go after Red Velvet and all that. I'm like, I see Layla Gray over here, but then she's caught in this fucking stupid feud with Top Flight and Leo Rush and Action Andretti, which I'm sure is going to lead to her turning on Top Flight and going with Leo Rush and Action Andretti. It's like you're in this fucking stupid feud on AEW, but you're being featured in a prominent role in Ring of Honor.
What is the one we have a lot of gripes with AEW, but one thing is I'll take Wednesday.
Right.
Shout out to the people. Shout out to Dave and frickin' and Bully Ray again.
Okay.
God, are you gonna play it?
I'm gonna well, I wasn't gonna play Bully in that. I was gonna play the Nick Nemeth one where he got on.
Okay, play the Nick Nemeth one because that one made a whole lot of sense.
Okay, we'll come back to AEW. I have it on the screen.
You can see and look at DC. DC's just like, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna play.
You know, I gotta say it. It's gotta be said. You know, the one thing that that Ring of Honor they're doing, they have their world title on this young upstart guy named Chris Jericho. Super young talent.
Hold on. Before I even get to that, you see, I'm going back to my other.
We're going all over the place, man. Thanks.
You had to say it.
Look, DC, you're gonna end up getting on your rant. I'll let you go. I
gotta do it because I found it. I'm gonna bring it up here because it made me laugh so much because this tweet did not age well. Okay, so from January 30th, 2010, and everybody's been playing. You know, Tony talking about. You know, we can't just hire everybody from when he was on Talk Is Jericho, like in 2019, like the first year, like when AEW just started coming into fruition. But this is a tweet from Chris Jericho that somebody reminded him of. Bischoff's right. I can't headline in TNA because I'm not in my 50s. 15 years later, Chris. 15 years later, Chris. And you're the Ring of Honor World Champion. And I feel so bad for Powerhouse Hobbs because, or if they turn Big Bill babyface and go against Jericho, I feel bad for him. But if you go from him losing to John Moxley, losing to Konosuke Takeshita, then for Chris Jericho to beat him in a Ring of Honor World Championship match, you may as well just say sayonara, pack your bags, Powerhouse Hobbs.
Go for it, Dave. Go for it, DC.
Or Dave.
Go for it, DC. I'll let you go.
I'll let you
off.
go. Well, go ahead, Dan. Now I'll go to David Clark.
This is what Tony fucking does. He books his bullshit to a fucking niche audience. And you know what? Fine. That's what you want to do. Fine. You know, you have such amazing fucking talent. And yet, this Death Rider stuff, there was such hope for it. They had built Darby Allin to be the guy to do it. But what does he do? He decides to fuck off and try and climb Mount Everest.
And Tony could have said, no, you're not going to do that. We have plans for you. You're not going to go kill yourself right now.
No. People, the average wrestling fan does not know how fucking dangerous
that is.
This could be.
Right. He could die. Legit, he could die.
Like, there is so much that can go wrong. There are seasoned climbers who will even tell you Everest is dangerous. But no, he lets him do it. Thinking it's going to get him publicity for AEW.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. You have, like you mentioned with Deanna, why aren't you using her? And it seems to be that anytime somebody speaks out against Ring of Honor, the fans say, oh, no, you're just the WWE ground. You're just the WWE. Oh, fuck off. Seriously. Not only that, but anytime a talent speaks out, you are put in the proverbial black hole. Phoenix has basically been erased.
Ricky Starks
asks for his release, does it the right fucking way.
Britt Baker to an extent now.
Ricky Starks, his merchandise, fucking gone.
Same with Phoenix. Now I'm waiting for Britt Baker to get her friggin' merchandise got off there now.
And here's the thing. People are saying, well, Tony's finally being a boss. Okay, that's all well and good, but he built AEW and himself as being the alternative. The problem is he is starting to turn into Vince McMahon, everything he didn't want to be. Right. And you know what? The AEW sickos, the fucking mark-ass bitches, are not holding him to task. And when I say something or anybody else says something, oh, you hate AEW, you hate Tony Khan, fuck you.
We've all said it very, very bluntly and very, very repetitively because we vent our frustrations with this company. And we don't get
to finish it off, Mike. I gotta say it, and I'll say this. I will die on this fucking hill.
Go ahead.
If AEW ever goes under, it will be because of Tony Khan
1,000
and his ego.
1,000.
Ego. So,
yeah, what happened to him?
Yeah,
he's using him,
and he's thriving right now. He's in one of the top
spots.
What
happened to Penta? Whatever happened to that guy?
Whatever happened to Penta? Jeez.
What happened to All Ego?
Yeah, that's the thing too. It's if you speak out against AEW or if you're friends with CM Punk, you get punished by that company. Or if you're boys with Cody Rhodes, that's the thing too. He is so petty. Number one, he's turned into what he hates, Vince McMahon. And the other problem is he doesn't, we mention every week, and it's not like we want AEW to die. We don't.
No.
We've been watching this since 2019. We just did a whole wrestling roundtable, cheap plug, all of us talking about the first year of AEW, and you could watch how we're all excited because WWE sucked at the time and we wanted an alternative.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And we want an alternative when it was really good, and this is what we need now in professional wrestling. And then freaking 5 years later, we're freaking complaining about this show because we have an incompetent booker who's a coked-out version of Kermit the fucking Frog who just can't friggin' contain himself because
I'll pay
you. Every day is the best day of my life. And the problem is he invests his money in people that he doesn't need to invest in, Mercedes Moné, and just pay her all this. I'll pay you all this money because, oh my God.
Give her creative control. Because that worked so well in WCW.
And the problem is, here's the other problem.
WCW says what?
And fuck Vince Russo.
Fuck Vince Russo.
Well, bro, let me tell you what we're gonna do. Bro. I'm gonna book myself to be the WCW champion, bro, because that's what the fans want to see, bro.
I'm going to put myself over at the Nassau Coliseum in my hometown of Long Island and win the WCW championship. But no, like to Dan's point too as well. And the other thing that I hate even with the Mercedes stuff is, I swear to fucking God, Megan Bain just came into this company, and I'm gonna equate it to what we've said about Camille. See what we've said about Camille. This woman should have not signed with AEW. Megan, you could have went to NXT, and now you're fucking here, and they run a video package on you after you fucking lost in the Casino Gauntlet. Yes, exactly, because she should have gone to
3 months.
3 months.
3 months. I give her 3 months before
Yes.
she is nowhere to be found.
She'll be
Catering.
Where she will be there, and then all of a sudden she'll be in nothing. What is she going to be in? The TBS title picture? The TBS title seems to be more important than the women's world title.
Make
Yeah.
that
Why
make
is
sense.
that? Mariah May should be your fucking top dog in your women's division.
Yes.
Why is she not? Because Tony Storm was over. Timeless Tony Storm was over. Yes, this whole new going back to the original version of what Tony Storm was, of her kind of flipping her characters. Oh my God, this is excellent work. I will give her all the credit in the world for making it work. But here's the thing is like, what else is going to happen? You have nothing else for them.
Well, as of this,
I give Megan 3 months before she's the one that's over here like, wait, I want more time on TV. And then you're not going to see her.
right. But I mean, tonight is where
And they'll pull her merch.
right. And as of this time of recording, Tony Storm has gone back to being timeless Tony Storm, as she and Mariah May had their little exchange on Collision tonight. So she's back to being timeless again. The best role of hers was, your best role is playing yourself. And then, I played the greatest role of all. And Mariah, I'm coming for the championship. But yeah, she's already back to being timeless after a month. And so we're going to get that in Australia. And we're going to get what we're going to play now. We got Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay against Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita, who they blew their fucking load within 20 minutes. Kenny Omega got.
Here's another fucking thing. Months ago, you had Takeshita beat Kenny Omega, arguably one of the greatest of all fucking time.
Twice, Daniel.
You should have strapped the goddamn rocket to him. He should have been in the world title picture then, or the TBS title, but he floundered for months. It was months before he did anything.
And he won the international title, and he's really done nothing since then.
He's had good matches, yeah, but why are you not booking him higher up on the card? Fucking hell, this makes no sense.
So the problem that I have, and you're completely right on this, Mr. Daniel Crimmins, as are you, Mr.
I
Paul.
usually am.
All right. So with that being said, I have to go to the point of Kenny Omega comes back, doesn't even go after the Young Bucks, doesn't even go after Okada because the diverticulitis birthday cake, and they attacked him in the parking lot. So we have Kenny Omega going right back to a feud that happened a year and a half ago with Don Callis after he took the screwdriver out on him. And the fact of the matter is this. They also have him and Will Ospreay doing the proverbial Vince McMahon storyline. Can they coexist? But Tony blew his load within 20 minutes of that opening segment this week, and they're doing moonsaults off the fucking structure and the balcony, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know what, Will, I forgive you. It's okay, Will. We've had this history for years. We hated each other in Japan. We hated each other here, but it's okay, Will. It's okay. We're going to be buddies, and we're going to go against Kyle Fletcher and they blew their load in 20 minutes. They blew their load in 20 fucking minutes.
Best booking ever.
It's the greatest booking in the world, and now we're going to get that. But I have to mention this because of the AEW Grand Slam, and I know we're stalling, but let me go back to this because, again, so as of right now, and this is to the Wrestling Observer, because people were wondering, because they had it originally stated for the same night as NXT Vengeance Day, and it was slated at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to air here in the States, but there's a little bit of a problem here, so here we go. Right now, the plan is for AEW Grand Slam Australia to air on TNT after the NBA All-Star coverage, which in theory would give it a gigantic lead-in, but would be airing very late. The show itself would start in Brisbane at around 2:30 a.m. Eastern State Time late Friday night, so it would be like a 21-hour or so tape delay. So we have a tape delay where originally this was supposed to be like a 50K stadium, but then they moved to a smaller venue because the tickets weren't selling. And now what we thought was going to be a pay-per-view is now just a regular doggone show that's going to air on Max and TNT. But with this delay and the fucking NBA All-Star, we're going to have a show that's going to probably air at 2:30 a.m. in the morning, which is the same night as NXT from 8 to like 10 or
That
whatever.
nobody is gonna fucking
fucking
watch. Here's what you do. You got this deal with Max. Why not go to Max or Warner and be like, hey, we got this show. It's in Australia. Can we air it live on Max?
Right.
WWE does it with their blood money. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean the Crown Jewel shows.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, is like you're talking about again a 21-hour delay, pretty much almost 24 a day later for us. But here's the thing is like, why could you not just move it from what the channel that you have it on to maybe what True TV or something like that, for one fucking night.
Well, yeah, look at WWE. They had it on. They have SmackDown on Fox, but if it gets preempted, they go to Fox Sports 1.
Yeah, but you're also gonna hear this bullshit from Grandpa fucking old man fucking Dave, who's gonna fucking talk shit and say, "Oh well, hold on."
Oh God.
Well, the All-Star game, that the NBA, will just happen to be going on at the same time, so that it kind of interacted with what they were trying to do. So, yeah, there's that. Like a fucking dumbass.
First of all, that was the greatest Dave Meltzer impression ever.
Also, let's not forget the fucking fact that you had an opportunity to put Ring of Honor on the CW in the slot that NXT is now in. Had you done that, I'll bet you could have gone to the CW and been like, hey, we've got this Grand Slam show. Can we air it then? And I guarantee you CW would have done it. I still think that ROH can go to fucking like True TV or something.
Yeah, agreed. Man.
I think that would, if you look at any of the networks that Turner actually owns, they could quite easily move fucking ROH to one of them. Because that you get the NCAA tournament that happens every fucking year, and obviously it's broadcasted over several fucking channels. At least for the first couple of Saturday, at least for the first and second weekend, you get them on True TV, you get it on TNT, TBS, CBS, and God knows what other channel that they have it on. But I'm saying is that you have an abundance of channels that they can use. So why not just, I don't know, use True TV as even if it's in the evening, just put it on there. I don't need to see the season 2 of Impractical Jokers. I don't need to see it. I don't need to see it every other night. Give me ROH on a Thursday, shortly after fucking TNA, after Impact. Give me that. It's taped anyway, so what the hell's the damn difference?
Right. And I mean, I look at it from a stance too, like this.
I am drunk ranting. Don't give me alone.
You are fine. I see you drinking your wine over there. You go, Paul Morales. But no, that's the point. I mean, I look at it from a stance like this. You have people on this show, and here's the problem with Grand Slam. Jon Moxley, and you mentioned the Death Riders. Technically speaking, as of this recording, he is in 3 fucking feuds. And here's how they all mix. We have Jon Moxley, who's going to probably wrestle Jay White at Grand Slam because he helped save them against the whole after Pac and, Cope. Adam Copeland, Edge, Cope. I hate that fucking name. After that main event, and then friggin' Jay White comes out of nowhere and just saves him. So it looks like in Grand Slam, we're going to get Moxley and Jay White. You have him and Cope, which is probably going to be the main event of Revolution. You have Jeff Jarrett, who is in a feud with MJF, comes out and does the promo in Tennessee for the fact that we're going to get him and Claudio Castagnoli next week. 57-year-old Jeff Jarrett playing his best John Cena, because this is Tony's way of saying, hey, we have a person who's going to retire this year. Jeff Jarrett can coincide with John Cena. No, the fuck you can't. and we're probably
Yeah, that's what's gonna fucking put butts
What
in.
he's trying to do, he is trying to recreate the magic that they had with the send-off for Sting.
yes, but it's
I'm
not.
sorry, but there are certain talents that are on, I call it the GOAT tier, the greatest of all time level.
Right.
Ric Flair is on that level. John Cena on that. I would say Kenny Omega. Honestly, I would say he's on that level. Sting is arguably one of the greatest of all time. Jarrett, pretty good, but is he on Sting level? No. And I like Jeff Jarrett. I think he's a talented wrestler, but he is not on that level.
For me, he's always been mid-card for life. If he wasn't booking himself as the NWA champion from 2002 to 2000, multiple times. Like people talk about Triple H and the reign of terror.
It's like Booker T. He's the five-time WCW champion.
It's like the TNA reign of the Triple H reign of terror from 02 to 05. I'm like, but the thing is, after he lost to Batista at WrestleMania 21, Triple H was never the world heavyweight champion again until like fucking 2008 when he had the short WWE title run. Like Triple H didn't make himself the champion twice. Jeff Jarrett fucking kept doing it. And I mean, with Jeff Jarrett, like, he's going to be Claudio next week and we're going to get him and Moxley for the world title. And I'm just like, I don't want to see John Moxley versus Jeff Jarrett in 2025. Oh, good God. But they're going to do it because Tony has a boner for Jeff Jarrett. So speaking of having a boner, let's get to that boy, Dave LaGreca, someone who we like with that boy, Nick Nemeth. He was like, what the fuck? Mikey, Spirit Squad. So this was his thoughts on the whole Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay open the Spirit Squad. Oh, fucking God. Here we go. All right, hold on.
Because Kyle Fletcher is from because he's from Australia. Got to get him involved in the match because he's from Australia. So nothing's going to be better than your baby faces and your heels and everybody cheering your heels because Kyle Fletcher is from Australia. Does anybody in that company think? Like, do they think? I mean, really? Forgot. I mean, listen, gloves off. I mean, enough. Sure? Enough is enough. Enough's enough now. Like, has anybody put any thought into any of this shit? I'm being honest. You know what? Let's team our two biggest baby faces and go after, I don't know, the hometown hero, Kyle Fletcher in Australia. I mean, come on. Dear God, nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. They don't know. I've defended. I'm on my knees right now. I'm on my freaking knees. I have defended this company for years, for months, for weeks, for days. I've tried. I've sat in the front row in New Jersey. I've got to more AEW shows in the last 5 years than WWE shows. Okay? I am trying, and maybe the nation can help me. But does any thought go into this at all? Did anybody put any thought into it? Like any thought? Let's get our two biggest baby, Kyle Fletcher. They'll hate him. Why would they? Well, he's from Australia. We're in Australia. You're in Australia. What? I can't. I try. I'm trying. And I know that people are going, oh, you're a WWE show. Yeah, because the WWE pays me a lot of money. I can fucking retire with all the money the WWE pays. I get nothing. Same. I get nothing. I get nothing. Well, yeah, you, Nick. Nothing. I get nothing. I get nothing. Nothing. I would do the same thing when I was sitting in front row. AEW didn't get me a ticket. A fan. I went with Mike in Hoboken to go to. I sat in the front row. I buy shirts. I got AEW shirts up my ass, for God's sake. I paid for them. I'm happy to spend my money on AEW and anything professional. The only company that pays me is SiriusXM. If anybody, Nick, you know that TNA, WWE, AEW, ISPW here in Northern New anybody. You want me to be a part of the show? I'm going to be there. Awesome championship wrestling. I'll do it because I love it. And it also is great promotion for Busted Open. Nobody pays me. ISPW did, but that's because they can't pay me.
Full disclosure.
I love Tommy Fierro. But these big, I mean, come on. I'm doing it because, but AEW, man, they make it fucking tough. Holy shit. I'm watching it. I'm like, how about this? I don't know, Nick. I don't mean to be Bogarting the time, you know? It's like a fucking J, for Christ's sake. I'm Bogarting.
First and foremost, I think the dude needs a J.
Well, first and foremost, this is how we all react. Well, first of all, he's a fellow New Yorker, I believe, like us, Mr. Daniel Kerman. So
He's from Jersey.
He's from Jersey. Well, okay. Well, first and foremost.
Okay. First and foremost,
Hoboken.
first and foremost, he's from Jersey, but man loves his fucking New York teams. I'll give him that one. And he loves his fucking New York teams. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. Okay, and the fact is, I love Dave.
Me too.
I love fucking Dave because man, that man is so fucking passionate. Forget that everybody gives him shit because, oh, you're a fucking WWE fucking shill, or you're a fucking Mark shill, you know, that you just hate AEW. No. This man on Busted Open, he used to have fucking Tony Khan on there once a week. Right. And after all this stuff of him talking shit on them, he didn't want to have them on there. He didn't want to be on there anymore. Hence why he started hogging all of his talent and being like, okay, well, you can go on anywhere, but you can't go on Busted Open when Dave LaGreca is there. And that's exactly what he did. That's the reason why it's so hard for Busted Open, for their program director, Paul. Shout out to Paul. Why it's hard for them to book AEW stars on their show, because all you get is a bunch of pushback from Tony Khan. The fact that he had Mariah May on there on, I believe it was either Thursday. I think it was Thursday that he had her on there. It was kind of amazing that she was on there, but it comes far few and in between the times that he actually has anybody on there. That's the worst part. And gotta blame Tony Khan for that shit, because it shouldn't be that way. I mean, you should go on any show, no matter what. If somebody disagrees with what you're doing, the fact is that you're on the show and you're promoting what you're doing. That's what the platform is for. Hell, if I go on Denise, well, I went on and talked to Denise and fucking Righteous Reg. You want to know what I told them about? I told them about us. I told him about my friends. I told him about my friend Daniel Crimmins, and I told him about my friend fucking Michael Larkin. I told people, go follow them. Why? Because that's a platform for me to actually be on there to say, hey, guess what? We're here. I love you guys. And you know what? Come and listen to us. You know, we're a bunch of fucking knuckleheads too. We love wrestling. Yep. Come and listen to us.
Well, Mike is.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, well, it's basically Mike. And Mike doesn't pay me, so
we don't.
I have to do something.
Yeah.
I have to do something, man, because Mike doesn't pay me enough.
Well, I will say this. You mentioned Mariah May. Here's what she said.
Actually, Paul, you better be careful because Mike will pull your merchandise.
Oh, hey now. I'll pull it. That's a new one. It's still a I'll pull it. That does sound so wrong.
Ew, that sounds so wrong.
I'll pull your merch.
Of course, then again, I'll pay you actually sounds pretty harsh too, because you really theoretically want to look at it. We could kind of look at this in kind of a hindsight manner, but you know what? Hey, you know what? Mariah May, beautiful woman.
Beautiful
Go for it.
Mariah May. Here's what she recently said on Busted Open.
I was Tony's little younger, little follower, little protege, little understudy. And every single night, Tony Storm got the biggest reaction. Every single night, a woman got the biggest reaction because she has a character, because she has something you can laugh at, you can care about, you can invest into. And when I turned on Tony Storm, the way those people felt, that's not something you get from having 25-minute wrestling matches. And maybe that's why people don't like me. And these journalists are conditioned to seeing one thing and I'm giving them something different. But When I grew up watching wrestling, it's about making people feel something. And you're not going to do that from doing 500 moves. Yes, we can go in the ring. We both went to Japan. We both trained. Tony has been wrestling for probably longer than I've been alive. I don't even know how old Tony Storm actually is. But it's not just about that. That's not what it is to me anyway. And I think the beauty of wrestling is everyone can go and tell their own story. And I know our stories better.
Boom shakalaka. Yeah.
DC.
It again, like I mean, like she said, you can have the 500 moves, and that's fine, but it's about making people feel something.
Yep.
Like, I want to go back to WWE WrestleMania 28, Undertaker versus Triple H.
Right.
Hell in a Cell. They made us feel something.
Mhm.
You know, think of, even though it was 0 people, WrestleMania 36, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte. And then again, was it Mania 39, right? Where it was where Rhea fought Charlotte again?
Yes.
And again, it was telling a story, it was making you feel something. It make us feel something. Get us invested. You know, going back to what Dave said, Kenny's gonna get booed.
In Australia.
They always cheered. You remember when fucking Elimination Chamber was in Australia?
Yeah.
Even Grayson Waller got cheered.
Yeah, I mean, even if you look at it like the first Super Showdown when you had Cedric defend against Buddy Murphy, of course they're not going to boo Buddy Murphy. They're in fucking Australia. Like that's how it is.
It makes no sense. But you can't say anything because Vince McMahon, you know, has thin skin.
I like that. But no, that's the thing. And I look at it from a stance like this. Mariah May, to go to her point, because this actually ties into the next topic. As we mentioned, Britt Baker looks to be on her way out. Very difficult. Tony is fed up. He's not gonna take it, to quote Twisted Sister. Mariah May even went recently on one of her interviews and she called out Britt Baker. Would I want to see Mariah May and Britt Baker? Maybe. I'm not really into that. You know, I mean,
If the story's good.
Sure. But then again, this is who's booking. But I look at it from a stance like this with her last story. I think with the last straw with Britt Baker, besides the MJF thing with the Will Ospreay and Alicia Toot and all that, and of course everything with Thunder Rosa and whatnot. But I think the straw that broke the camel's back was the Serena Deeb nobody cares thing, because you had her beat Serena, beat Penelope Ford. Then Serena Deeb came on the stage and they were supposed to have a feud, and Britt Baker said nobody cares. I think she is done. Do I see her going to WWE? I think there's interest there, but she would have to fix that attitude of hers, and I think she would get checked real quick if she were to go to WWE.
In WWE, you know she would get checked real quick. And
fuck yeah.
Because if she, I'll put it to you like this: if she doesn't check it at the door, in WWE, ain't nobody gonna fucking. She's not. It's not them, blackballing her. It's the fact that people are gonna see that you went to a major company and you couldn't work out.
Right.
So it isn't them blackballing her. It's the fact that she is going to go to a major company and that they're going to see what she does and everything, and it's not going to happen. Now I go back to something that we mentioned about Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
One of my biggest gripes, and Dave, shout out to Dave LaGreca again, because this is something that he pointed out. Him and Bully Ray actually pointed it out. They were talking about faces and heels in AEW, specifically everything that goes on, and that Hurt Business private party match.
Yep.
Did you notice that when the Hurt Business came out, did you hear that pop?
Right.
Did you hear that pop that they got?
Yeah.
And then as soon as private party came out, they got booed. Why is that? Why is it that you have your heels, your team that is supposed to be a heel, getting the bigger pop than the team that's a babyface? Because you're not doing shit right. Case in point, when Private Party lost and the Hurt Business won, the pop that they got was just huge. The fact that they're there and that they're a heel. And I know it's a surprise to a lot of people, but we'll go back to MJF. MJF is supposed to be a hated heel, but why is he so fucking over? Everybody look at Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho's trying to play a heel, but as much as people hate him, people are worse. Even when he had his Judas song,
People sang along.
look at how great, look at how many people were singing it over and over and over throughout his entrances when he was a heel.
And the thing too,
And then they talk about WWE and how, oh well, how is it? How do they put over heels? How do they put over faces? Look at Jacob Fatu.
Yep. He got
you had people tonight, shouting one more time, and he did it, but still he's just has that charisma, but they're putting him over as a heel. And take Gunther. Gunther is a heel, and people will do the song, but people are also hating him.
You had Gunther as the IC champion for 666 days, which I guarantee you they did that on purpose.
Yeah. But that's the thing, to go into your point, like you have these established talents, and the thing going back to the Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin thing, Private Party, the way that they've been booked, they've been looking like jamokes for the last 5-6 years. They win the title finally by beating the Young Bucks. And then the title run consisted of them winning a fatal 4-way, beating Leo Rush and Action Andretti. And then here comes Bobby Lashley and Shelton, like, we're going to take the tag titles. And then the following week they do, and it's a pop because the Hurt Syndicate, when MVP did the ball and elbow, everybody did balling with him like it was 2007 all over again. They're hot. They're established, and they want to see dominant tag teams, and we got Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah, but if you look at take somebody like Jamie Hayter, look at how over she was at one point in time. Why is it that last week, why was she booed in the middle of the ring?
Because they like Jamie.
Why were people booing her? That's what I'm trying to get at, is that you look at the women who are in Kate Statlander.
Yeah.
Chris Statlander was booed in the middle of the ring. Why is that? Why is she being booed? Why is it that people are starting to cheer Mercedes Moné? It's the fact is that they don't know how to push baby faces as baby faces, and they don't know how to push heels and create stories for heels to be heels.
And it's funny.
It just seems like it's far few and in between.
Right.
You get the shock and awe factor from things, but why is it that you can't put over the heels to be heels?
And one of the most authentic talents right now, I think the one that gets a lot of people because she's funny and she is actually very talented, like Harley Cameron, is like one of the best parts of AEW for me with that women's division, because she has it and she's working her butt off and she could be a great babyface. You took her away from Saraya, thank God, and now you have a potential of doing something with her. Like, I'm for that. Chris
Willow Nightingale.
Willow Nightingale is another perfect example, but ever since she lost that TBS title to Mercedes, then she lost to Mariah May, then the Statlander feud went nowhere, and now they're bringing them back together because now we want to make up with everybody. Like, it is what it is. He has no idea what he's doing.
And nothing fucking makes sense. That's the whole point, is that none of the shit that he does makes fucking sense.
Oh, but we can have bangers!
We can have bangers! Like, Okada has done nothing with that Continental Championship. Like, nothing. Like, not even Okada. We'll do another one. Daniel Garcia is now going to be in a feud with fucking the Undisputed Era, and we're going to get Daniel Garcia and Adam Cole. Why? Daniel Garcia and Kyle O'Reilly.
Where the fuck are the trios titles at? Why are they not being defended?
The Death Riders have them, and because we got.
Do they know they still have those titles?
Do they know that they're still in existence, or have they just like taken them off of them and just said? Because I haven't seen them wear them out.
The only mention that we got is Edge and FTR coming for it all, so I'm sure they're going to set up Edge and FTR against Wheeler, Pac.
Hey, get it right. It's Cope.
Fucking Cope. Yeah, that bullshit. Like, it's so ass backwards, and they had friggin' what's his face back, Ange. Friggin' with Daddy Magic.
Yeah, Angel Parker.
Angel Parker, yeah. backed against the Undisputed Era tonight. And then you had fucking, oh God, because they're in Florida. They had fucking freaking the Costco guys, Big Justice and Big AJ do the boom.
What we're going to do, we're going to get a cookie.
That, and we had them do the boom with Adam Cole and the Undisputed Kingdom. And it's like, well, oh God.
All I'm trying to say is the fact that Tony has no idea how to push baby faces and how to work heels. And as much as I think Mariah May actually mentioned about the people who were in the back as far as like consultants and everything. She mentioned Daddy Ash. She mentioned Christopher Daniels, but she mentioned all the older talent that are back there that have had the years of experience, but nobody else is booking creatively other than Tony. And that's the bad part. I mean, sorry, Mercedes is doing her own thing, but why? I'm sorry, she is not the GOAT. I don't give a shit what category you want to put yourself in. I'm sorry, you're not the GOAT. And Charlotte, go for it.
Of the two things. Of the four horsewomen of NXT, Mercedes, I think, was the weakest.
Yep.
That's number one. Number two, since he's been back, MJF has just sort of been
Yeah.
The biggest mistake that they made, and I know MJF did not want to be a face to begin with. You keep him as one. Here's how I would have done it.
Okay.
I would have MJF feuding with the Death Riders right now, being the savior of AEW. And I would have MJF taking the title off Mox again.
But that should have been something that could have been continuous this whole time. Even with him taking the time off, he still could have done exactly what Triple H did with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. The fact that CM Punk wasn't there and he had all these vignettes and he could have just been there, been on the mic, whatever, did these little backstage segments, but still been around is what I'm saying. Is like, that's all he had to do was have MJF there to come in, do these little segments. Here, let me send you a camera crew, follow you around, you do all these promos, whatever, blah, 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 and then we'll just show them, on the Death Riders or on John Moxley or whatever, just so long as your face is there. But it's like they all of a sudden went away. Same thing with Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa, oh my God, is such an amazing fucking talent. Her and Britt Baker fucking killed it. But why is she not on your TV? Why is she not featured? As many women that are on this roster that are so fucking talented are not being featured. Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker, yes, she has all this bullshit that's going on with Tony Khan. Yes, okay, fine and dandy. What I'm getting at is that all these women that are supposedly supposed to be your top level women are not doing anything because Tony Khan is not fucking featuring them.
And I will say this about Britt Baker, because this was another topic. Britt Baker tweeted out, I understand we as performers are expected to have thick skin through opinions and lies we read about ourselves, but spreading lies about my personal life is just low, weird, and something I won't tolerate. I've never cheated on anyone in my life. # tell your source, which was a reference to Conan on Keeping It 100, who said that he had a source as to why Adam Cole and Britt Baker were not together anymore, is that she cheated on him, which is not the case. So Conan got checked really, really quickly by Britt Baker. Conan, you son of a bitch. Good God. Fucking Conan.
God, Conan just loves to fucking stick his foot in his mouth. I know he likes to talk shit, but god damn.
I know.
If it wasn't for Conan, Phoenix
would be a WWE right now.
And he and Penta would be former WWE Tag Team Champions.
Now, I will say this, because first and foremost, I love y'all. And I'm going to cut it down to these last 4 things, because there was a lot of stuff with Dave, but I'm going to cut it down to these 2 things. Like him and Eric Bischoff, you got a 69-year-old man and a 65-year-old man. And Eric was hitting him with like, well, Tony's company went out of business and this and that. Like, I'm tired of 2 grown men, grandpas, fighting with each other fucking Twitter, and Jimmy Corderas has to keep checking him because it's like, Dave, you could say but this. Jimmy Corderas is literally saying what we've been saying about Dave and with everything, because he butts everything. It's everything that we talk about. Jimmy Corderas has gone at him. Eric Bischoff has gone at him. But these two really piqued my interest because I'm fucking Dave irks me. But these are some of the things, the last two I have to mention about Dave. So Dave put out a tweet, and this is from Meltzer Said What, because Meltzer Said What was talking from the Wrestling Observer. We're on Wrestling Observer Radio, Netflix's effect on WWE's business, WWE and TNA. And Dave Meltzer said at the 21-minute mark on that edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, WWE is flourishing and AEW is actually flourishing, which is funny because of the narrative, but it really is, but not in popularity, but economically.
What?
That's what he said.
What fucking word salad bullshit is that?
I know he said
what in the fucking jumbo fucking word fucking Smith did you fucking use to come with that, Dave?
Yeah, that like they're
flourishing.
flourishing.
What do you even say? Like,
exactly, like they're not flourishing in popularity. But
Mike, can you read that again? And to
how much did Dave have to drink, man? I know what I drank, and that still fucking sounded like gibberish.
To quote the great Michael Scott, Mike, I'm gonna need you to explain that to me like I'm 5.
Okay,
read that again and slowly.
Sure. So this is
dumb it down for me, dumb it down for me, Michael. Dumb it down for me.
So this is.
I mean, like way down.
So the wrestling.
Pretend I'm a little baby.
So this is from Wrestling Observer Radio, 21-minute mark from Dave Meltzer. WWE is flourishing and AEW is actually flourishing, which is funny because of the narrative, but it really is, but not in popularity, but economically. So they're making money. They may not be popular, but they're making money. WWE may be popular and they're making money, but hey, AEW's making money even though they're in the shitter and, attendance is dwindling, ratings are dwindling, but it's okay because they're still making money.
Got it.
What?
Yep, that's pretty much what he's saying. Popularity, they suck. Yes, attendances may be diminishing. Yes, ratings may be in the shitter. But hey, man, they're still making money.
I'm having to guess that this deal with Max, with Warner Brothers, just happened to fucking take them out of the fucking red.
Yeah.
It had to have had taken them out of the red and will allow them to just do what they're going to do at least for the next, I don't know, year, maybe.
I don't know.
Because, dude, there's no way he's playing with his daddy's money like that and not fucking and his dad isn't giving him shit because he already has a shitty football team. So,
yep. It's just,
and then he has a shitty soccer team, football team.
But at what point does Warner, and like I've said it to the guys, eventually Warner Brothers is going to be like, okay, we need the ROI, the return on investment.
Yep, and it's not because Tony spends his money. He just spends.
Yeah, but I get it. I get it that the NBA is switching from TNT to going over to Amazon and whatnot. I get that. And it's moving over to NBC. I get that. But at the same time, is like, at what point in time are you going to stop? Are you going to get angry with this company to be like, something has to change in this company because all you're doing is just taking our money and not doing anything with it other than shitting it down the fucking toilet?
And it's not because Tony wants to book for himself. He doesn't want to give up the book on
It's
creative.
a niche audience.
It's a niche audience. That's what he likes. He's booking for his audience and what he likes. And what he likes is the people that give him 5-star matches. And
that's something else that Bully Ray had actually pointed out is like they're pretty much catering to a niche audience.
That's it.
That's who they're catering to. The sickos, as he calls them, refers to them as. That's who he is catering to. And he's catering to them and himself, not to a wider audience, not to trying to expand the company, but let me stay within this lane and fuck everybody else on either side. It's like I am going to stay in this lane and I am going to stay my course because I can.
What celebrity involvement are you trying to get? And I guarantee you, because I can see the writing on the fucking wall. You know who they're gonna have take the Ring of Honor title off of Jericho?
I know you mentioned Big Bill, a Big AJ.
Big Boom AJ.
Yeah, that's their celebrity involvement, and I know he has a lot of followers on TikTok, but still,
Because they get the cookie.
And speaking of
and the chicken bake, which I have no idea what that even is.
I don't know what it is either, and I've been to Costco. I don't even know.
We don't have those around here.
Yeah, well,
You probably could have had one of the guys from the fucking Jersey Shore come over and fucking do it too. So
hey, TNA has already done that.
Yeah, they did with Ronnie.
I know. It was a joke.
Yeah, well, speaking of joke, we're gonna go back to one final thing.
Hey, I thought we were already talking about AEW.
Oh!
So this is the final thing we'll have. And again, shout out to Meltzer Said What, because it's probably one of the funniest Twitters ever in the game today. So Meltzer Said What? This is a clip again from Wrestling Observer Radio from January 23rd. Dave Meltzer's girlfriend, and yes, he has a girlfriend, ladies and gentlemen.
What?
Apparently he does. Dave Meltzer's girlfriend has watched AEW Dynamite for the first time in a year plus and has declared the show underwhelming and with so many old people on it. So
no kidding.
This is the clip.
Him and Big Bill squaring off. And
hold on, my bad.
A shot of him and Big Bill squaring off. And Chris Jericho in his promo had to tell us that Hobbs won the match. Yeah. But it was like, why didn't you show Hobbs getting that big win? I mean, you actually threw to a Collision recap, but you didn't actually show Hobbs winning the match. Yeah. So I don't know, man.
That was the least of the problems of tonight's show. That one. I mean, tonight's show. I mean, I was watching with my girlfriend, and she's been to some of the shows, but she doesn't watch the TV because she usually is going to be working on Wednesday nights and everything. But we decided we were going to watch together, and it's probably been like, I couldn't tell you how long since we watched the show together. Probably a year plus. And late in the show, I wasn't really talking. I'm just busy writing. She goes, I'm kind of underwhelmed by this. Okay. And then it's just like, this was, I mean, it's like she said something and I was thinking, but she said it. And it's just basically, it's like, boy, since I last watched the show, they have so many old people on this show. And he goes, don't get me wrong. It's like, we're old. And then she goes like, but these guys are like almost our age. And I give them credit. They're in great shape and their wrestling is good, but they're so old. And it's like, you don't even know half of the older people weren't even on the show tonight, but that's the big takeaway. I mean, it's my big takeaway watching it again, as it was, when, what was it? The show it was last week or Collision or something.
It was last week.
Yeah, last week. It's the same. Yeah, it's like, it's just one after another. And it's not like any of them aren't good. They're all good, but it's like, there's a reason that they lost 18 to 34 viewers, and it's been going on for a long time. And the reason is because they're not pushing younger talent. I know it's not a perfect model because NXT's 1834 numbers are way, way down too, and they are pushing younger talent. But whatever it is with AEW, I mean, it's
okay. I like.
Is Dave actually admitting to everybody that his girlfriend was right?
Yeah.
He's trying to say it without saying it, like he's trying to say, well, it's not good, but
yeah, he does that a lot. He adds the but to it. And might I add, the younger talent pushing him up. NXT did 812,000 people this year with the demo beat AEW's demo. And AEW this week did 655,000 viewers with Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay with that segment, and then the closing of Pac and Cope. All right, look, NXT is booking for the future. NXT has Obafemi on top, and we have their structure, and it flows. AEW has no structure, and it doesn't flow. It's all over the place. NXT is actually growing. AEW, not so much. And also the TNA partnership that people are excited for.
NXT has arguably one of the greatest women's rosters it's ever had, honestly.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I'll do you one better. I think it's better now than it was when you had the 4 horsewomen of NXT there.
All right. Yeah. I mean, there's an
You
argument.
you have the names. You got Roxanne Perez. You have
Yeah,
Julia.
but they've built those talents. Forget the ones that they brought in.
Yeah.
Let's take out of the equation. Let's take 6 of the ones that they've brought in. You realize that they've built Roxanne Perez, even though she was under
Tony Khan.
under Booker T's fucking school.
Sucker.
Even though she was under Booker T at the at Reality of Wrestling. But you look at Kalani Jordan, you look at everybody from Fatal Influence.
Sol
Ruka, who's been awesome, in the ring. They've been building that roster. Adding all these other names to it are just building it more and more and more. We can say that they brought in Stephanie Vacour. We could say that they brought in Zaria Delta now Zaria.
Yeah, Julia.
And we could say they brought in Julia. Yeah, they brought those women in, but this was already a good roster, a good talented roster that they've built, that Shawn Michaels has built around him, and it's just going to continue to keep getting better and better and better. And yeah, I do think AEW has a very, very talented roster. Oh my God, the talent on that roster is a who's who of who used to be on the indies, that used to kick ass on the indies. But you come to AEW to do a whole lot of nothing.
We mentioned earlier Deonna Purrazzo, like she came in, fought Toni Storm for the title, had the feud with Thunder Rosa, and now she's doing nothing.
No, she's doing something. She's in catering.
Yeah, but even so, I mean, look at Athena. Athena's been their fucking ROH Women's Champion for nearly 3 years, or should be already surpassing 3 years.
They had a missed opportunity of putting the belt on Billy Starks, but they didn't do it.
Yeah, but where should Athena be at? Athena should be on the fucking main on AEW. And I said this already in the show. Billy Starks, a lot of these women that are on this roster that are younger should be in ROH, and a lot of the older women that are not older, but I mean a lot of the more experienced women should be on this AEW roster and killing it. But they're not. Why? Because of fucking Tony Khan. Tony Khan just doesn't get it. And he doesn't know how to fucking push these women. And again, back to the whole baby face and the whole heel fucking thing that he just doesn't know how to do. He doesn't know how to make talent. He was never a talent. He's a fan. He is legitimately a fan. He's not a fucking booker. He's not a talent. He's never went out and explored talent. Do you know how all those guys got to fucking AEW? Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega.
Yep.
He didn't go out there and scout him and say, hey, guess what? I think that these guys should be here. Hey, I think these guys should be here. No, he didn't do that. Yeah, he had his VPs, but and then what?
Right. And that's the thing.
Fucking fanboy.
That's the thing too, and this also proves the fanboy, as we have our last two, as Paul so eloquently stated. We have a Tony Khan clip, and we have a Mark Henry clip talking about Shawn Michaels from Busted Open. So let's get to the old Tony Khan clip.
And this is no offense to anybody, but we're not looking for names from other organizations. I think Cody's word is fresh.
Yeah,
we're looking for fresh. Everything needs to be kind of ahead of the wave rather than going back behind.
Absolutely. The key thing is that we're not going to sign up every single talented person out there. You can't. And it was one of the problems with WCW. It was that there were too many people under contract.
So many guys.
A lot of them were super talented and super great. And it's like if you were going to cut down their contracts, you'd be making some really tough decisions, because there are a lot of really great people under contract at WCW, but you just don't need that many people under contract, especially
This is the same thing that's going on with WWE right now, though. They're signing everybody, and they can't use everybody,
And for us, I think, we need to be discerning. We need to make this a sustainable business. And to me, I want to learn from mistakes people have made in the past. So let's sign up every valuable piece of talent we can that we have a plan for, but let's not sign up too many people that, you know, we can't push everybody we like. Let's not be guilty of the same thing that we mock other people for. Let's, you know, let's not live in a glass house.
We're not looking.
That was from 2019 on Talk is Jericho, and that clip aged horribly. That clip aged horribly. And he's doing
but you know as well as I do, DC. You, Michael, DC, both of you guys know.
Yeah.
What the fuck have they been doing? Signing people fucking left and right and paying them fucking money to do what? Sit there and do absolutely nothing.
Doing the same thing that WWE did. And you know what? Why is it that the AEW marks are giving him a pass? But yet, years ago when WWE did it, oh, they got shit for it. I remember when WWE basically cleaned out New Japan.
Yep.
They were shitting all over them. When they got Nakamura, AJ, the Good Brothers, all in one fell swoop.
Yep.
And then what? And then it was just like to them, it was like, oh well, they're hoarding talent. That's all they're doing. Oh my God, they can't go anywhere. They can't work anywhere else. Oh my God, all they're doing is hoarding talent. No, that was Vince McMahon hoarding talent. What Triple H is doing is that he is bringing in talent and he's fucking using them.
Motor City Machine Guns is a prime example. We mentioned them earlier in the show.
Penta's another one. Look at all the women that he signed in NXT doing what?
Sales. Let's talk about Penta for me because you brought him up. I think this is worth noting.
Did you get your mask yet?
No, it doesn't ship till April.
Son of a bitch.
Okay.
Well, we will see that coming in April. Look out for us in April because somebody will be wearing a mask.
Dan's going to be wearing the Penta mask on the show.
Maybe.
But
see, the point I'm making is like Penta's merchandise sales have been through the roof, and he hasn't even been there a month.
And he's only had 2 matches. 2.
Think what's going to happen when Phoenix
match.
That's how you do it. That's how you build stars, Tony. And here's the thing. You didn't even let Penta talk on the mic. And guess what? He's really fucking good on the mic. He can talk. That promo that he cut after he beat Chad Gable to the home crowd and just thanking everybody. I love it. He cut great fucking
And not that Penta says.
Yeah, not the Penta says like Alex Abrahantes. But that's the
Don't
thing.
get me wrong. I like the dude. I like Alex Abrahantes. But
I do too. But yeah, just again, this is what he did. He's not learning. It's all about Tony. It's all about the sickos. Get.
I'm gonna point this out because it seems like ever since Julia and Stephanie Vakur, however it's pronounced, ever since they opted to go to WWE and the Guns too, things have changed with Khan. Like before, like people could leave. Okay, fine, whatever. But now it's like, do I think Tony Khan's a little salty that he lost out? Because I remember you guys remember there was the reports, there was the assumption that the Motor City Machine Guns were gonna be debuting in AEW in like a couple weeks. Then you start seeing the vignettes on SmackDown.
Yep.
Then there was Zarya. You know, they said, oh, she's the AEW bound.
Then you saw the vignettes on NXT.
Yep. Let's see, who else? Stephanie Vakur. They thought, oh, well, she'll sign in AEW. Yeah, we don't think that was ever going to happen.
No,
Delta.
Yeah.
Delta was another one that now is Zarya. That was another one that was supposed to sign.
Well, here's the thing with the Motor City Machine Guns. If they would have signed with the AEW, here's what we would have got. Them versus the Young Bucks. Then what? What? Exactly. That's what it would have been. We got to get the dream match with the Young Bucks because of their history in TNA, and then nothing. That's literally what it would have been. It would have been nothing. Just it is what it is. And now Ricochet's friggin' the psycho with scissors and glasses. Aha!
Oh, you mean Timu Tate?
Timu Tate, yeah, just whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, folks. It's fucking whatever. And from our frustrations and our joy and our Bix bag of emotions,
you know, I think it needs to be said because we've shit on AEW a lot more so than usual.
Yeah,
but I think it's worth saying we don't hate AEW, folks. We don't. We want it to succeed. We want it to be better.
We're frustrated.
We are very, very frustrated. And part of the other issue here is, we mentioned Ethan Page leave. They dropped the ball with him.
Oh yeah, they had him with the American Top Team stuff, and he was with Scorpio Sky, and then nothing. And now look at him
You
now.
had Roxanne Perez
and Ring of Honor. Yeah,
they had Thea Hale.
They had Thea Hale. Yeah,
Cora Jade.
Look at how many. Kiana James. They had her.
All these people who wrestled on fucking Dark, and now they're thriving in NXT.
The point I'm making though is I think that all these people that they were shoo-ins for AEW.
No.
And I think Tony got mad. I think he got mad that they signed elsewhere, and some of the people that he's brought in or kept. Why?
Because that's his boys. It is what it is, man. It's just the people that he likes. He caters to people that he likes, and if you disagree with him,
he caters to his friends.
He does. He's all about his boys and his homies.
His sickos.
And speaking
I'll pay
you. And speaking of people who are not sickos, but are people who actually have knowledge. And I figure we close this out because, like Dan mentioned, we've been shitting on AEW a lot and venting our frustrations. But our last clip is the great Mark Henry, and he talks about Shawn Michaels.
It's time
I think that having Shawn Michaels be the representative of the ladder match is fitting. And I think that if Scott Hall was alive, he would be there too. And explaining what the ladder match can do for your career. Because that match, even though both of those guys had success, it took them to another stratosphere. And that's what I think Shawn is going to say to them. Shawn is going to let them know that this is not just another match. This is a match that's going to add to your career. It's going to add a level of history to your career. And that being said, both of those guys need that. It's not one guy that needs it. They both need it. You want to come out on top, but it's more important to not be outclassed in that match. I think that
like I said, and that worked perfectly with tonight's segment with Cody, Shawn, and Kevin, and really solidified the magnitude of the importance of the ladder match. And you have one of the kings and the pioneers and pillars of the ladder match, man. So yeah, everything Mark said was great. And can you imagine if Scott Hall was still alive and how that would have been, and have Scott and Shawn have one of the greatest ladder matches ever, and you throw the importance what we're going to get with Cody and Kevin?
Hey yo
Chico.
Hey yo
Chico.
Because you gotta do the pause. You gotta do the hey yo.
Exactly.
You gotta,
Yeah, I know. I feel you. But that's what you have to have, man. And that's the extra zest that would have been there. And that's what adds
razzle dazzle.
Razzle dazzle, if you will. But no,
Now,
Mark was 100%.
You gotta remember the ladder match and it's honestly one of my favorite ladder matches. And you know what? I figured since we're we're bringing it on home, I'm gonna say something nice about AEW.
Go ahead.
One of my favorite ladder matches actually occurred in AEW. Talking about Cody versus Sammy for the TNT title.
That was very good.
That was a very good match.
Great match.
It's funny because I always you always hear what do you remember, and I hear so many people go back and forth as to what are the most memorable moments in AEW, and that it comes far few and in between. As to if you ask the casual fan, not the fucking marks, not those fucking sickos, but if you ask a casual fan, what are the ones that are just sit in your head of memorable matches in AEW? It's can you list off 3 off the top of your head in the 5 years that they've been in existence, almost 6 years that they've been in existence.
Right.
And I think if you look at it, it's 2 of them actually have Cody in them. It's Cody and Dustin.
Yep.
And then it's Cody and fucking
Sammy.
and Sami Zayn, Sammy Guevara.
Sammy Guevara.
And the only other one that sits in my head, like totally sits in my head, was because I was there, and that was Swerve and fucking Hangman Page at Full Gear.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the Murder Fest?
The Murder Fest.
Yeah, the Murder Fest at Full Gear, you know. But that's the forget that it was a death match. They did fucking ring work. They did a lot of fucking ring work in that match, and I just thought it was fucking excellent.
Right.
That's why I said it. If you look at AEW as a whole, it's like it's far few and in between. You take the ladder match for the tag team titles that in that same freaking Full Gear fucking event.
Yeah, Young Bucks, Lucha Bros, Young Bucks, and just everybody, man. Like,
yeah, it was the Young Bucks and Lucha Bros, and that it was fucking I forgot who else was in that damn match. But the fact is that there's certain things that are most memorable to people that happened, but it's like they're not ones that are just like, oh my god, do you remember this moment? Not like WWE. And I get it, we're talking about years of WWE. You could say that in the 24 years that fucking that TNA has been in existence.
Right.
Well, we could list them off fucking like clockwork.
Right. It's just with AEW, the problem is how he books. Everything is just like on to the next, and it just happens so quick. Like we mentioned earlier, the Timeless Tony Storm reveal was just like you did it on the reveal on Collision when you could have done that on Dynamite. Like
when he could have the fact that he could have did that in fucking Australia.
Exactly. I agree with you, but the thing is too, he saved shit for the Collision show, which is number one. But number two, like Paul said, you could do it in Australia, or you could build to months down the line, but he has to blow his load so fucking quickly, and that's the problem.
But they were another thing that they were talking about on Busted Open was the segment with Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
It's like literally something that could have been drawn out for maybe about 3, maybe 4 months was literally done within about that 20-minute segment of like the beginning of the show, or 15-20 minute segment of the show. That stuff that, I mean, literally it went pile, and then stuff that could have been drawn out. It's like literally you could have just let it all marinate. No, boom, we're doing all this in literally in one night, in one segment.
And they had
that was the worst part.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You had Cody, Sammy, you had Young Bucks, Lucha Bros, and you had Cody and Dustin. Great moments, but it's very hard because again, he's just very on to the next, and that's the unfortunate part with AEW right now, and that is the frustration that we have. And again, we love pro wrestling. We really do. We don't want to see any company die, but we want to see people get their head out of their ass and do better. And that is the main focal point of professional wrestling. Doing better.
Do better, people.
Do better. So with that being said, with everything that's going to be better, we have a lot of stuff coming next week. It's the Royal Rumble. And then right after that, we have Vengeance Day for NXT. And then we don't have an AEW pay-per-view until Revolution in March. So lots of coming from this show and everything. So with that being said, Paul Morales, where can we follow you on the social medias? The floor is yours, good stuff.
I think my TikTok is still up. I don't know. I haven't checked it. But I don't know if the Tangerine Man over there fucking got rid of it. Anyways, I'm still there. Of course, you could find me on Threads. You could find me on look. My link tree will be down below. You could find me on all my social medias, YouTube. You can find me with these 2 knuckleheads on this show. And of course, you can find us on our roundtable, which will also be a link down below because, of course, we have talked about AEW and everything that we thought about that first year and gave our opinions of what we think the future may hold for them. So, aside from all those places that you could find me at in my link tree, Daniel Crimmins.
Hit
it.
Pundit's coming back. Going to be recording tomorrow. Finally have some energy, have a day off. Y'all know how that be. Michael and I, we got Uncaged with, we're going to be coming back Gonna be coming in strong. Not sure when we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be doing we got a couple really good shows this season. We got Muhammad Hassan. Michael and I are gonna tackle WrestleMania 36, which that was the COVID Mania, which I will still say highly underrated show for what it was. That WWE was able to pull off a WrestleMania. Because you got to remember, folks, that was right when everything was going down.
Yep.
And they pulled it off.
They sure did. There's a lot of great topics coming, man. Oof. Go ahead. Hit me, man, Dan. Go ahead.
So we got more coming. Keep it tuned. And then there's this other guy, this Michael guy, this Maggle guy.
So if y'all want to follow me, it's SM Show 1 or MCL92 on the Twitter front, MLarkinMB or Larkin_92 on Instagram, StephenMikeShow.com, LFCfights.com. Like Daniel mentioned, we have a lot of great stuff coming with Uncaged. Like Paul mentioned, Wrestling Roundtable. We just discussed the first year of AEW. Our next topic on the Wrestling Roundtable, shout out to Moses Marquez. This was his idea. So we're going to talk about Lucha Underground, the wrestling telenovela, and we're going to talk about Penta and all those great talents from Lucha Underground. We have Uncaged, like Daniel mentioned. We got more on the Mic with Mikes, the Pop Culture History Podcast, Steve and Mike Show, and so much more coming on Mike Larkin 92 on the YouTube front. We have got over 1,130 plus now, so keep on subscribing, keep on liking, and we appreciate everyone's interaction and comments. So with that being said, tune out for the next weekly review. Tune on in. Come on in. Come on, and show your love for these fine gentlemen and yours truly. So for Paul Morales, for Daniel Crimmins, my name is Mike Larkin. And with that being said, it's Rumble time, it's Rumble season, and one more time for Tony Khan. I'll pay you!
You wanker.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow.
The past is gone. Now's the future.